In this episode, we are joined by Yoda. Hello and welcome to episode 31 of Real Estate TV. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about wealth creation, and I'm actually joined by Damien Merchant. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay, so I'm a father of 4 children.
Yep.
Married. I've been in the real estate game one way or another since I was 20.
Yep.
So I started in real estate, established real estate when I was 20 at, actually my first job was at a Frankston office.
Okay.
2 months in,
Yep.
The boss, I got given a diary and said, go sell.
Yep.
And 2 months later I got fired because, I hadn't obviously hit the targets these guys had wanted, but I was devastated.
You would have been.
Anyway, and then I found myself I was like, no, I'm not going to give up. And I went and worked at Stockton Lego in Cranbourne.
Yep.
And these guys trained me. They, put me through courses and training, unlike the previous place. And within 6 months of being there, I was in the top 10 in the whole franchise group, top 10 listers.
Yes.
And so I was selling homes back then for what seemed expensive then is like 130 grand.
Yep.
And
very different now.
Yeah, and anyway, I was there for about 4 or 5 years, and then, but being in Cranbourne, I was watching all these land estates opening up, and this construction everywhere, and I knew very little about it. But there was a company that out there that was doing quite a lot, LJ Hooker New Homes. Guy by the name of Greg Kilner and Warren Truen were running the show there, and I really was keen to learn. I was doing well. I was making good money. I was earning like 130 grand as a 22-year-old.
That's pretty good.
So what happened there? Then, but I was keen to learn. I sort of learnt what I could in established real estate. So 4 years in, I was like, I don't really see myself doing this for the rest of my days.
Yep.
And I was curious about the new home space and land subdivisions and all of that. So I went and worked with these guys and to learn. And my income went down by 2/3.
That's how you know you're doing something right.
I remember this saying, someone said to me, work, pay now or play later, or play now and pay later, whatever you do.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever, if you pay now, you'll play for longer.
Yeah,
if you play now, you'll pay for longer.
Yeah, okay.
And I had that in my mind, and I knew I needed to pay a cost for my learning.
Yeah.
So I started off doing a university degree that I just didn't want to finish, but I knew I had to do a degree in life. And so that experience with those guys was that. So I went and worked for them for 3 years, and I understood, and from those guys I learned how development works.
Yep.
I learned how a broad hectare piece of dirt gets owned. I learn about planning. I learn about structuring deals. I learn about yields. I learn about the construction process and costings and feasibilities, etc.
Yep.
And so I started to I was putting deals together for those guys who were doing big unit sites, but I had that itch that I wanted to do my own thing. And had they offered me some sort of ownership in that business, I would have stuck around.
Yeah, okay.
And wanted it, but that just wasn't on the table at that time. And so, so I was 26. 26. And started my own business called went back to the Stockton Lego umbrella.
Yep.
and started Stockton Lego projects. And yeah, was it 26? Sorry, I'm just trying to get. No, it was 27. That's right. And the year was 2008 that I started, and 6 months before the GFC hit.
Yep.
So
Good time
timing
to start a business.
was terrible.
Yep.
Like I started off, and 8 months later I had 3 or 4 staff working, and then the whole sky fell down with the GFC. The whole market just stopped. So, how old were you?
How old am I now? In 2008, I was 11.
Yeah.
11. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, it was that was tough, and
I bet.
then it came. But anyway, we sort of traded through that, and somehow survived.
Yep.
I don't really know how, but we did.
By the grace of God, it sounds like.
And so anyway, fast forward, we started growing as a business, and we needed, and I think I mentioned to you earlier the book, The E-Myth.
Yep.
It's a fantastic book for anyone that's looking at starting a business. I definitely highly recommend you read that before.
Yep.
But I started looking at the business of real estate. I was a good agent, but I wasn't I had a lot to learn in business.
Yep.
How to manage cash flows, how to marketing, how to attract staff, how to maintain, train, develop, all of those things, manage people.
Yep.
I was young, and I remember thinking, who the hell's going to work for me? I felt like, I still felt like a big kid.
Yes.
Pretending to be an adult. And anyway, so probably should talk, because I know you're about property. I had bought a property when I was 21.
Yep.
In Cranbourne. It wasn't the prettiest place in the world, but it was just for me forced savings.
Sure, of course.
It was a 12 square little shitter on Monaghan's Road.
Yep.
And I polished that turd as much as I could.
Yep.
Put some paint on it and some new carpets, but it was a very basic place. But I just used that as almost forced savings.
Yeah, gotcha.
And but when I started my business, I actually had to sell that to start the business.
Right. Okay.
So I sold that property,
Yeah.
and then got and that started my first business. And for a long time, I'd actually just invested in businesses, not property. So I was going for cash flow.
Yep.
Have you ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
No, but I've heard excerpts of it.
Read it.
Okay.
And anyone listening,
Yep.
I definitely think it's a great framework.
Yep.
So anyway, I was learning about development. I'd started my own business. I was privileged to be able to, because we were selling sites to developers.
Yes.
I kind of saw development as an alchemy, this mysterious thing.
Yep.
And it was like getting to peer behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
And once I got behind the curtain, I realised this is an alchemy. It's a process.
Yep.
And there's nothing mystical about it. It was simply a process.
That's 100% how I feel. I mean, I've sold projects
Yeah.
for a bit now, and Dad and I actually did one. And once we did that, I watched, and you're right, it is just a process. You think it's this huge thing, and how the hell could I ever do that? And then you go and see it, and you go, hang on.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you meet the best developers in Australia, and you realise a lot of these are just men behind the curtain peddling the wheels, like the Wizard of Oz, and the perception that they're bigger than Ben-Hur is just...
they'll put their pants on one leg at a time.
They do, and so I teamed up with a couple of guys at 3 Pillars to do development. So we did our, again, I bought a site in Pakenham, got plans and permits for it for 21 on Army Road, and flipped it.
Yeah, okay.
And that money was used to get us through the GFC.
Okay.
And grow the business, which would eventually become core projects.
Okay.
So it was originally Stockton Lego, and then we merged with Northside Real Estate with Steve Hay and formed core projects.
Yeah, okay.
But that was quite a long way down the road. So I was doing that. Simultaneously, I started doing deals with Ben and Tom at
Yep.
Three Pillars.
Yep.
So we did a 56-unit site in Pakenham. Then we bought land in Berwick and did a 100-lot subdivision there.
Yep.
We did 60, 70 townhouses, I can't remember exactly how many, in Notting Hill. And then we bought, through off the receivers, 3 precincts in Martha Cove.
Yes.
So with the Three Pillars crew, developed about 210 dwellings there. And then with another crew, your
Yep.
old man was part of that.
Yep.
We bought a marina, and so that's
been
sort
around.
of a bit of the what I've done, and I currently, and somewhere in the mix there, we started a software company with some.
It just accidentally happened.
Well, in the pursuit of creating processes,
Yes.
we
Yeah.
looked at the tech that
Yeah.
we were using. And look, I'm a big fan of tech. I think tech's going to change every industry. And I reckon property's probably the last. It's a slow-moving game.
I totally agree with
But-
that. 100%.
So now I'm involved in a company that's building tech for the real estate industry called Rex Labs.
Yep. Yep.
So we've got about 4 products. We'd be one of the largest CRMs in Australia.
Yep.
Just recently opened up in the UK, and
Yeah, right. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Kicking goals. Love it. So my audience they skew a little bit younger. I'm finding through various channels, some of them are even as young as 16 years old, and some of them have some cash saved. I've had a kid recently email me on Instagram and say he's got $25,000 saved. What should I be doing? So I guess the conversation around building wealth at a young age, what would you be doing if you had some cash like these kids saved, whether they're 18 or 25 or whatever it is? Young and impressionable and...
Yeah. May not be the answer you want, but one thing I've looked at, and looking at the wealthiest property owners in Australia,
Yeah.
you know, I've met guys that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars and dealt with them closely. And all of these guys park money in property.
Yep.
But they don't start there.
Okay.
They all start by having a business, by generating cash flow.
Yeah.
When you've got more money than you need to survive, you have disposable income. That disposable income can either be pissed up against a wall, which most people do,
Yeah.
or saved for investment.
Yeah.
Now, property is just one of the investment classes out there.
Yeah.
Now, it's a darling of Australia in terms of but you have a look at, well, I mean, we've had a lot of growth in property over the last 20 years, and, you know, the banks are harder to deal with now than ever. And you sit there and go, with $25,000, could you start a business that could generate you an extra 25K a year
Yep.
passively? You know, whether it be an Amazon store.
Yep.
It could be, you know, I would always encourage people. Not everyone's inclined to start their own business, but
Totally
if you have an idea, like, you can act on that, and if you can, there's 100 million ways to make money
Yep.
in business.
Yep.
And I would say that that's really how I got into the game of property, is in terms of parking it. But am I buying property today with, at the moment? I'm not.
Yep.
I don't see, the fundamentals don't make sense to me.
Okay.
I understand that as a minimum that, yes, it's a good idea to get in the market, don't put yourself under a noose. Leave some margin so that you can maybe invest in yourself and start a business.
Yep.
Or invest in your education.
Yep.
Whatever you do, like, don't put yourself in a noose, because the thing I've seen that kills creativity the fastest is stress.
Yep.
Nothing causes stress more than 2 things, really. Well, 3 things. Lack of sleep, not being honest with yourself and others,
Yep.
so being duplicit, so have integrity, and then you can live in peace. And the other one's financial pressure.
Yep.
And there is a tendency to want to keep up with the Joneses. And I remember, for me, I bought my first house that I live in when I was 33.
Right. Yep.
Even though I bought my
First
an
property
investment
at
at 21.
Yes.
I sold that
Yep.
to start a business.
Got you.
To create cash flow.
Yep.
Then that cash flow went on to buy properties, but they weren't to live in. They were micro businesses.
Yep.
You know, I bought them to make money off them. Whether I bought, flipped it, developed it out.
Yep.
But I had cash flow that enabled me to do that. And we started a software business with that cash flow. Bought a marina. You know, so you sit there and go, really, like a lot of people, like, yes, buy a property and as a forced method of savings. It's not a bad idea. Try not to buy a unit or an apartment because land goes up.
Yes.
Properties go down, land goes up. So, you know, I would say, but look for good infrastructure if you're going to do that.
Yep.
But don't put yourself under a noose. Don't put yourself under that pressure, because if you're under pressure, you're under stress, you're not going to be creative. You're going to end up feeling trapped, and you'll end up working for somebody else out of this need for security. You know, and so I'm a big fan of building wealth for freedom.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people buy properties and end up trapped.
Yep.
And that's the opposite of freedom.
Yep.
You know, so don't let the great Australian dream become your nightmare. That's probably my advice.
Yep.
And I go, you know, you're talking to young guys who've got brilliant minds, and, you know, I'd say invest in yourself, read.
Yep.
Reading's cheating.
Yep.
Get around people that are succeeding.
Yep.
And you'll learn. Success leaves clues.
Yep.
So talk to people that have sort of been there, done that. I'm a sponge. Like, I mean, the more you know, the more you don't know. Like, I don't know that much.
Yep.
There are so many people that are smarter than me in property, in business, in every field.
Yep.
But I'm curious.
100%.
So stay curious, keep digging, keep looking, but be true to yourself and your own passions. And at some point, I think you've got to back yourself. You know,
So
anyway, I don't know if that answers
no,
the
it's
question.
really, really good actually. So all these kids have just heard, "I'm going to start a business. Shit, now what?" Do you think it's important to be passionate around what it is you're starting? I mean, I don't care too much about plants. If I went and started a nursery, would that be no good? Or do you reckon the idea, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying, hey, you got 25 grand, go start a business. But I'll just say, think a bit broader than just, oh, I've got 25 grand, I'm going to buy a property.
Yep.
That's the default of Australian society.
Yep. It's because it's what mum and dad did.
It's what everyone tells you to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
You know, there's Warren Buffett. He's, I don't know, do you know Warren Buffett?
I do, not personally, but I know of him.
Probably he would be the most successful stock trader in the world, and one of the wealthiest guys in the world. His investment strategy, loosely, is this: whatever the world is doing, I'm going to do the exact opposite.
100%. Supply and demand.
Everyone's buying, I'm selling.
Yep.
If everyone's... so you sit there and go, well, don't follow the crowd. Have the courage to follow your own mind. Now, if you're 25, if you're young, you've got 25 grand saved.
Yep.
Don't just rush and buy a property because that's what everyone else is doing. You might have an idea in you that needs to be developed and fostered.
Yep.
Learn, read books on. If you are thinking, oh yeah, maybe I would like to start my own business.
Yep.
Then read, learn, talk to people who have started businesses, and find out what lessons you can learn, because experience is expensive, and you know you can learn from a lot of people. And if you have if you have humility and you're teachable, there's plenty of people that will just hand over
That's good advice.
massive amounts of knowledge that's cost them a lot to learn. And you can learn from them. And that shortcuts the process.
I like that. I still like to think of myself as doing my apprenticeship, and I think I'll probably be doing my apprenticeship
for the rest of your life.
But ultimately,
Well, if you're not growing, you're dying.
100%.
So I'm 39. I'm turned 40 this year. And I feel like I'm back at school. I'm learning. Like and the world's shifting every day. Like you look at machine learning, and we're just scratching the surface of that, and robotics and nanotech, and there's so many things that we don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
And and every day, there's always something that you need to be learning, and I think it's important that you do follow your interests and your passion. Like, I think you need to eat. So, I think, no offense, but your generation can be stuck in a mentality that, I'm just going to do what I love, and I'm not going to, and unless I'm not doing what I love, I'm not going to do it.
Yep.
Well, it's like, what? Good luck eating.
Yeah.
How long are you going to stay at home for?
Yep.
I think at some point, like, you just got to work.
100%.
And pay a price.
Yep.
And sacrifice. But it's that pay now, play later.
Yep.
So you pay a price, like, well, all your mates are partying.
Yep.
I wasn't.
Yep.
I was working 80 hours a week as a 20-year-old.
Yep.
I was reading books. I was feeding my brain. I was going to conferences.
Yep.
I was asking people, can I have a coffee with you? I want to pick your brains. And all my other mates, they were getting smashed, chasing the ladies. That was, it's obviously tempting, but I was like, well, I'm going to pay now because I want to play for the long haul, and so, and like a lot of my friends, they 27, 28, when I was starting my business, they were now coming out of the party scene, going, all right, now I'm going to start a career. Well, I had already established one deeply, and so, that's, I don't know if that's relevant. But
Really relevant. It's really good. No, I really like it. Very interesting. Well, it's taken a different sort of turn, which I like. So I'm out of questions, to be honest with you, which is good. I like that.
You're stuck for words.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really good.
Okay.
I like that. No, my girlfriend would be quite surprised that I'm out of words, and so would my mum. I think that's it, really. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you guys for watching. I really enjoyed filming this episode. If you have some comments or questions, let me know down below, and I'll pass them on to Damien and we'll get some answers. But thank you so much, and see you next time.
Thanks, guys.